ekiri eno abazungu basituse. Abazungu baagala kulaba nkyukakyuka mu ggwanga lya Uganda nga General Museveni avudde ku ntebe n'agikwasa President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi. Ebintu bingi ebikoleddwa General Museveni bulijjo ng'abikweka wansi wa kapeti ng'ensi tebitegeera. Naye okuva President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu lwe yajja yateeka akazito ku gavumenti ya Museveni n'okugirabisa, kati abazungu baamanya amazima n'abaali beesisigizza abaali beemamaaza kati baaswala mu mitima gyabwe n'amanya newetukolagana naye dictator nakyemalira mutemu. Era kati omusango egiri mu kkooti y'ensi yonna gyongedde okwongera okulabisa Museveni n'ebyonkolagana ye n'amawanga amalala egenze esazibwamu naye yongedde okulabisa Museveni. Kati nno ate bo abazungu okuva mu mawanga ga Europe nabo basimbye nakakongo baakulaba nga gavumenti ya General Museveni egwa ennume y'ekigo kubanga tekoze bulungi bannayuganda. Gano gonna ge maanyi ga President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi. Kati nno kusaba okkirize mu bwombefu bw'ekika ekya waggulu tugende mu Europe tufune abazungu baayo ababedde nga boogera ensonga zino era ne kaweefube gwe baleese agera nga gavumenti ya Museveni egweri President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi asobole okulayira nga President w'eggwanga Uganda.
Dorcas.
Yes, we can see you in your lovely car. How are you? You're always busy.
Yeah. Yes, the people power car.
Oh.
The car where I hide from NRM people when they chase me.
Are you going to find Miriam Black or who are you going for now?
No. Today I'm going to leave Miriam Black in peace.
Okay.
Yeah, but just tomorrow I might be on her doorsteps in Brussels,
well,
or
yeah.
The Hague, or wherever she may be.
Yes. I wish I could join you. Yeah. Thank you so much for all you do, Doctor. We are happy and honored to have you here.
Yes. But this, you asking me where I am, and obviously now it's Christmas, and this reminds me that the struggle never stops.
No.
I could have been chasing Miriam Black at this very moment. It was very well possible. I liked very much yesterday. I got a New Year message from the Swedish chapter. I think Joe sent it to me. And what I liked about it, because he included in the New Year message that we are waiting for our people to be released.
Yeah.
And I think that in everything we do, we should always have the struggle in mind. Yeah. So there cannot be any party without us drawing attention to those have fallen. That's what I dislike 50% of the people who call themselves noob and claim to be in the struggle. They are not in the struggle. They are fake. Yeah. And they're only in the struggle because they want to be seen around Bobi Wine. But they're actually no good for the struggle at all. And I'm so happy that on this program, we have the real activists. I mean, when was the last time that our president came on this program? He usually does not attend, but he doesn't need to attend for these 25 to be present. And what I hate about many comrades is they only show up if the president is there. So if you know any of those comrades that are like that, confront them. Are you a Change fan or are you a Bobi Wine fan? Because that is a different thing. The change of Uganda does not wait until 2026. Yeah, and there are and it's even more than half of the people that call themselves noob. They think in 2026 something takes place. Now, me being the author of that book, Rigged, I can predict to you what's going to happen in 2026. And I can tell you it is exactly the same as what happened in 2021. And the result, by the way, is going to be the same. Because there is not going to be any electoral commission that is going to announce Bobi Wine as the winner. Because they would be drawing their own death sentence. So those people that are preparing for 2026, they are doing the struggle a very bad job, a very bad one. So, having said that in 2026 is not the year that we're going to remove the dictator. No, the year that we're going to remove the dictator is 2024. 6 days, 7 days from now. And how are we going to do that? No, it's not Bobby Wine that is going to do it. It is us that's going to do it. And that's why, so when we talked, Dorcas, you asked me what I want to talk about. And if you don't mind, I would like to talk about activism. And then I was thinking I can hold the same story that I'm used to hold. But what I think many of the people in this program, they're probably wondering, how can I contribute to the struggle? Because everybody can contribute in their same way. It depends on your capacities. It depends on where you are. It depends on your financial resources. It depends on many, many things. And so if you don't mind, Dorcas, what I would like to ask some of the comrades on this program to tell me, yes, I want to do something, to tell me where they are living, to tell me what kind of ideas they have, and maybe I can also, from my background, give them some ideas, and maybe we can come up with some new ideas in this program. Yeah? And I want to give you an example of a new idea. And so, because activism is being creative. We discussed yesterday, Dorcas, when we were on call. You found out at the last moment about this meeting at Uganda House, and you improvised. And that is the right thing to do. You cannot always plan ahead. And by the way, I tell you, if you plan ahead, I had demonstrations that I planned ahead 2 months ago, and there was only one person that showed up on time. 5 minutes later, I got arrested, and that was the end of the demonstration. And that demonstration was announced 2 months ahead. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with improvised demonstrations. There's also nothing wrong with only a couple of people being at a demonstration. And actually, I can tell you that when you're only 1 or 2, you can do some very good improvisation. Let me give you an example. 4 weeks ago, I found out at the last moment, again, that the Association of Human Rights Organizations, they were going to meet in Copenhagen. Now, everybody knows what a disgusting kind of bootlicking organization the Ugandan Human Rights Commission is. And Ruth Sekindi was actually in Copenhagen. She was even having a presentation. I don't know what she was saying, but it can't have been any good because the Ugandan Human Rights Commission doesn't do any good. So we formed a WhatsApp group, me and some comrades from Denmark, and we decided to protest. I was not able to come myself to Copenhagen, but I don't have to be somewhere to have a successful protest. Other comrades can also have successful protests without me, and I can just add my experience, right? Fortunately, I had left some placards in Copenhagen the previous time I visited, and then we came up with a plan of attack. And especially the first day, it worked very well, because the first day, our comrade Ronnie Sentamu was there together with another comrades. And because they were only 2, they were able to sneak into the building. Officially, you're supposed to demonstrate outside of the building, of course. You will not get permission to demonstrate inside the meeting. But sometimes inside those buildings, you can do like what they call guerrilla activities, right? They might kick you off from the building, but that's the worst that can happen to you. Comparable to what our comrades did in Switzerland in December, I think, when those 4 ladies exposed our Attorney General. Isn't it Chiwanuka? That one. So, a guerrilla. And so, Ronnie went in and he almost made it to that main meeting. He would have definitely disturbed that meeting. Unfortunately, he was found out and then he was asked to leave, and he had to leave. There was no option of escaping. And then they continued their normal demonstration outside. But I'm just telling you that if he had succeeded of going in there and in this meeting of hundreds of national human rights organizations from Denmark, from Netherlands, from the UK, from all the African countries, and he could have pulled out Ruth Sekindi and the Ugandan Human Rights Commission, it would have been a fantastic activity, and it definitely would have gone viral, right? Now, no one in Denmark would have ever thought of coming up with this action. What did it require? It required myself, because I saw this announcement, right? And it required Ronnie and the other comrades who were on the ground. Dorcas, I now want to give it back to you. And I would like to hear from some of the comrades that would like to employ some activism. I will listen to what they have to say, and then maybe we can come up with some ideas.
Thank you.
Back to you, Dorcas. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nico, for that. Yes, I know you're so spontaneous. Yes, comrades, please, this is your Zoom, and do take the mic. Doctor is here. Ismail, the mic, you should, I don't know if you're able to unmute. Comrades, do take the mic. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Comrade Banasula.
Yes, comrade, is it time for asking questions or?
Yes, please.
Dr. Nico, yes, how are you? How is Netherlands? I think you heard about last week. In fact, no, this week we had a prayer meeting or a prayer meeting at our headquarters in Makere Kabwe, and our leadership had invited most of the religious leaders, but they refused, because I consider they failed. They refused to turn up. How do you see the reaction of leaders in this our struggle we are in with our mother Uganda? Thank you so much. That's the question.
Banasula, you're asking about that is on ground, of course, yeah, the prayers.
Yeah, the reaction of the religious leaders, whereby they were invited to come at least and did some prayers for our foreign communities.
And then they didn't show up. Yes, and do you have the activism, anything on activism?
Come again.
The doctor, I see you're struggling with your son. It's okay, don't worry, comrade. Yes, Dr. Nico, please do take it, and we'll take other hands. We'll take 3 hands.
Yeah, let me react to this one.
Yeah.
So first of all, we know that in the past, religious leaders, they were on the side of the people, and nowadays the religious leaders are on the side of the dictator. So it's unfortunate. Okay, I'll start my video if you insist, Dorcas.
Yes.
So we know the religious leaders are not going to lead the liberation, but at least what we can continue to call them out. We can continue to call out the fact that most of the rigging of the elections happened in churches. And now I also have the question for you, Benesula, because you're from South Africa, right? So my question to you is, what kind of activism do you think South African comrades can do? And for example, tell me what about that Muhoozi painting in Joburg? What happened to it? Thank you.
Oh, Banasula, you're muted. If you could unmute. Yes, Banasula.
Thank you so much, Comrade Nico, for that question. Right here in South Africa, as a community, we are preparing something to happen on 8th of January. We are calling upon, we raise posters, we are trying to raise some finances in order for our people to get into, we are calling upon for a total shutdown of the nation. We are calling up for total shutdown of the country, that no business on the 8th of January, business must be closed, operate. Everything, we are calling our people to to keep everything at a standstill.
Is this the shutdown again by the economic fighters? The EFF?
Come again?
Is this again the activity of your famous leader that is leading the EFF?
Yeah, yes, Malema.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a very good idea if the National Unity Platform would join Malema, right?
In 600 meters at the roundabout, take the third exit on the PA9 ramp down near Pangelo.
You're breaking up.
Banasula, your volume, could you please increase your volume? You're really breaking. It's very faint. I don't know what is happening today, comrade.
My phone mouthpiece is not clear. I don't know if I'm loud and clear.
This is better now. Don't use the other gadget you're using. Just use the phone as it is.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, in fact, this our struggle. We love when someone like Julius Malema of South Africa puts a note on this our struggle. It's very, very, really it's empowering when he puts a voice. But on the other side,
continue for 3 kilometers.
But on the other side, it has got a bit of negativity when it comes to this our struggle. Most likely, when it comes to the government of South Africa, because it is in too much. Like ANC is much with the dictator. It is too much in with the dictator Museveni. I mean the current government of South Africa and the ANC government as a whole. They are in too much with the dictator. You see, some days back we wanted to do a protest here in South Africa, and because of the influence of the dictator here in South Africa, we got a bit of backset, and whereby our protest was stopped. I mean, was not given a chance to take place, and they gave us that. They told us to ask for another chance, and of which we asked them when are they going to give us that other chance. They never told us that no, you should come at this moment or at this during this time. But for us, we are insisting. We are always writing to them that we want to organize the protest. So that we do something right here in South Africa to in protest against the terrorist dictator Museveni and his NRM terrorist. Brothers and sisters, the thing of 8th January, I was really I was really I got a piece of when I heard
In 600
about
meters, use the right 2 lanes to continue toward Waterloo.
when we had some of our leaders in opposition when they really also I don't know if they say it from the bottom of their heart that in January something has to start from January immediately after the 1st of January. It's not too much. It's not too much distant from our plans we are organizing here in South Africa. That our organizers they get already caused a shutdown protest in Uganda. So it will make sense. It will make sense that even the rest of the chapters worldwide and NUP chapters worldwide, they also put a hand in this plan that we are really trying to bind up on the 8th of January. Please, let's try. I don't know if I can give you my Facebook account whereby you can go and see those posts. It's called the Nza Uganda, Go Uganda.
If you share that in the chat,
okay.
Share that in the chat, brother.
Okay, I'm going to try to share it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yes, Sister Tina, please do come in, and then we'll get Dr. Nico to respond at once. So if we take Tina and another comrade, then we get Doctor to respond at once. Yes, please. Thank you so much, Banasula.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Nicole. He has been a strong pillar in this struggle. Also, I just wanted to reinforce something that Dr. Nicole had said. It doesn't take a whole bunch of people to get out on the streets in the protests to do any kind of damage control. Although the more the merrier, I say. However, I can remember when it was just me, my son, and Tony out on the streets in Washington, protesting and stuff, and people were listening to us. They were coming over, asking us questions. I can remember one time, it was me, it was Tony, and my son. We were at the State Department, and we played the national anthem. I took a knee to the national anthem, and in suit, Tony and Greg followed me. And the reason why I did that is because when an American takes a knee to their own flag, that's showing some kind of trouble. That's showing there's something wrong. It could either be they're being disrespectful or they have a message to bring across. So after that national anthem, I got up and the two followed suit and they got up with me. And then we did, the Ugandan national anthem and stuff like that. Well, I was the first one to take the mic. I took off my sunglasses and, at the State Department, we had the CIA there, the FBI, police, Anthony Blinken, the people that really need to be told, that what's going on, as they know what's going on. But as long as we keep the noise up, they cannot stop and not do anything. But if we're not doing something, they can. But anyhow, I told them that the reason why your own, who was born and raised on American soil, took a knee to our flag was because I'm disgraced by it. When I look at that flag, I see nothing but blood, innocent bloodshed. I says, we don't directly pull the trigger on Uganda, but we are funding Uganda. and funding the genocide that's going on in Uganda. So I could remember, I'll never forget this. After I was done speaking, I turned around and I walked down the sidewalk. And brothers and sisters, there were so many people like you and I who were gathered down that sidewalk who were thanking me for standing up for something that was wrong. People from all walks of life, from all kinds of different countries, lined up behind me. You see, whenever you take a stand, and like Dr. Nicole said, you don't need, like even with Dorcas, she found out at the last minute. She went out and she demonstrated. That's awesome. That's what we need to do. As Dr. Nicole says, it's not about Bobby Wine. It's not, even though I love Bobby Wine, I love our brother Bobby Wine. I stand beside him. I really have the utmost respect for him, for making awareness of what's going on in Uganda and help standing up for the generation, the young generation, because without him, maybe a lot of the people in Uganda would not even have stood up, because you're born just like we're all born. I said this before on many platforms, that when we come into this world, no matter what country we're in, we're born to certain customs, certain things, that you kind of grow up and you accept it because that's a part of reality. That's just the way it is, but that's not true. Like Uganda, you're not born to be poor and in slavery in your own country. You're not. And it was Bobby Wine who shook up the place to get people aware of what's going on, and I praise God for him. However, like Dr. Nicole had stated, it's not about him. People they gather because Bobby's going to be there and stuff like that. That's awesome. That's great. However, it goes beyond our president. He did everything that he possibly can. Now it's we, like Dr. Nicole said, the people. We mustn't stop. We must keep up on these social media platforms. I spoke a little bit earlier, and I was saying how Museveni, how he's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, how he's trying to, come out and look like he's a saint of the year right now. Why? Because people like Dr. Nicole, who and myself, who protest, and Dorcas, who protests all the time, who shook up the ICC. Thank you, Dr. Nicole. And sanctions are being brought against him. That's why he's trying to act like he's good. Again, I'm going to say, I want everybody on this platform, those video clips that Museveni, that's on social media, where he's talking smack or trash, however you want to say it, on these European countries. I know that we should be sharing them daily. Those protests where he's putting that, those social media clips where he's saying, we don't need America, we don't need this, we don't need the European countries, and just putting them down. And the biggest one, where he said that I don't work for nobody, I work for myself and my family. And he said he's going to crush all the Bugandans and all Bobby Wine's people. Those videos need to be constantly circulating. People need to be sharing those videos. So, but again, I want to thank Dr. Nicole for bringing to everybody's attention. It doesn't take Bobby Wine being in a center for us to do a protest. Matter of fact, Bobby Wine said himself, to get out there and protest. It doesn't take 50 of us, maybe like Sister Dorcas, how she heard at the last minute, and there was just 2 Conrads that went out there. Believe me, when I'm closing up right now, but I want to say, when David and Goliath, I'm going to use this for an example, guys. Everybody was afraid of this big Goliath, this big giant. There was this little shepherd boy, and he wanted to know what was this all about. He went out by himself and defeated that giant. He went out by himself, not 50, not a million others going with him, but by himself. And he defeated that giant with a slingshot and 1 rock. So like Dr. Nicole said, get out there. It doesn't matter if there's one of you, two of you, or more of you. Get out there and protest. Thank you. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you, Dr. Nicole. Back at you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sister. Yes, we'll get Dr. Nico back. Yeah, I just remembered I know the way I don't really want to take all the credit because Comrade Rodney, actually, if it weren't for him, I think wouldn't have made it on time to the venue. So it was the two of us, and we just really talked, and he's like, oh, it's actually happening this evening. Maybe I take the afternoon off. And that is how the conversation started. And before we knew it, we were at Uganda House protesting. And we actually managed to reach a few people, those that were going in and the passers-by. We sort of spoke to one or two. And yeah, so hopefully the message was received. Thank you so much, Tina, for that. Yes, Comrade Joe, your mic was going, and then we'll go back to Dr. Nico. Yes, Joe.
Thank you, Comrade Docus. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Dr. Nico would like to know what strategy we have. Now, we as the Swedish chapter, you might know that the Swedish chapter had been, was disbanded. So like for 2-3 years, nothing was happening. So the Swedish government has really been on holiday, so to say. We think activism can take many forms. Of course, demonstrations is one of them and quite effective. So what we're looking at is really launching a robust campaign. And we are targeting the media, we are targeting the different ministries, for example, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We're looking at the different political parties. We are looking at different government officials that are of interest. And we shall be using, for example, the documentary, a very powerful tool. We are looking at human rights reports, one of which is the State Department 2022 report. Very, very scathing, very detailed, chronicling all the atrocities that have been committed. We shall be looking at the Human Rights Watch, a very powerful report too. We have the Amnesty International report. The book You Vote could also come in here just so that we know, because we've known that the Swedish government, I mean, it's something that I tried some time back, but then I was doing it as an individual and realizing that I was not getting the results. I changed the strategy and started dealing with the European Union instead. So this is really what we intend to do. Clearly, this is going to be a very, very hectic season, and yeah, I think the government of Sweden has not really been confronted with the brutal truth about what happened post-election violence and what has transpired to date. So that is really what we intend to do. Over to you, Comrade Docus. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joe. It's good to know that you're, should I say, reawakening the chapter because there's been so much quiet down there. So thank you so much for all that you're doing. Yes, the mic should be rolling back to Dr. Nico. Dr. Nico, please. I don't know if you're, yes.
I'm here. So thanks to Tina and Joe for their activism and their contributions. So like I said, I wanted to give some personal hints for everyone giving contributions. So let me start with Joe. It's very important that you now have revamped the Swedish chapter. However, it doesn't require a chapter to demonstrate. I don't think Dorcas at all uses the UK chapter to demonstrate. She goes to demonstrate. She doesn't go and ask the chapter leader to demonstrate. Do you, Dorcas? You see, you don't need your chapter to demonstrate. You need to be a natural born activist. to demonstrate. Fuck the chapters, okay? Sorry, I sometimes get a little bit annoyed with the passivity of some of the chapters. So, really, some hardcore activists have much more value than a chapter. Now, Joe, an interesting idea that I came about is, you know, that a week ago, the EU ambassador, Jan Sadek, he met Mohozi. Now, for me, that is the absolute bottom of where any diplomat can reach. If you squander your ideals to such an extent that you have to meet the torturer, no, not the torturer, the director of torture centers, personally involved in the torture of many of our comrades, and you shake that bloody hand, then you have reached the absolute bottom of humanity. And that needs to be called out in the same way that we called out Miriam Black. We went to the embassy in Brussels. We went to her house in The Hague. Now, Jan Sadek, he is from Sweden. He is from a small city on the East Coast. I forgot the name. But so this is one idea for this, for Swedish comrades. Go to his hometown and demonstrate at his school or at his family members, or if he has a residence, at his residence. You don't even have to be at the right place, by the way, because it's all about perception. Go there, demonstrate, and I'm sure that he will hear about it. And that is good. And I want Jan Sadek to then say, I never want to meet anyone from the Swedish chapter again, because I know he also doesn't want to meet me again, because I've heard from reliable sources that the EU delegation does not like me. And now I have to start charging my phone again. I can tell you, if you do not get disliked by the other side, then you're doing something wrong. So, Joe, let's talk a little bit more privately about this. And then the other thing is, you were already talking about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That is a good one. Then another very important organization in Sweden, I think it's called SIDA. SIDA is the organization that does development aid, and they spend a lot of money in Uganda. So let's also discuss that. Then coming to Tina. Tina, we thank you all because you are a hardcore activist. Now, I want to tell Tina something, and by the way, it's also useful for others. Tina and myself, we have an advantage in the struggle because we're white. It is unfortunate to say, but there is really a huge white privilege. It is unfortunate, but there is a lot of racism. Africans, we know Africans are not taken seriously. Right? That is a matter of fact. A demonstration of 5 white people will be taken more seriously than a demonstration of 50 black people. It's unfortunately true, what I'm saying. So the moment that a couple of Mzungu people like Tina and myself join a demonstration of black people, it increases the profile of that demonstration. That is just a matter of fact, right? And on top of that, look at how the Iranians and the Palestinians, if you look at their demonstrations, they can't just have their demonstrations by Iranian nationals or Palestinian nationals. They also need those Mzungus. And usually those Mzungus are better connected. And so it can be very useful to use that. And so my recommendation is to Tina, do not be afraid of using your white privilege. Use it for the advantage of the struggle. And to our black comrades, I want to say, let's accept that there is such a thing as white privilege, and if you can, take some white people to a demonstration, because it's unfortunate, but you are taken more seriously. Back to you, Dorcas.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that. Yes, comrades, please, we will be drawing to a close, so ask for the mic. The mic has gone out. We are talking about activism. Talk of activism, I see Joseph in the audience, and I would like to acknowledge you and thank you for all that you do. Joseph is always at a demonstration almost every Saturday. Mr. Joseph Senyonjo, I don't know if you're able to speak to us. Please do take the mic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, doctors and Dr. Nicole for the, oh my God, it's so dark here.
Don't worry, we can see you. Yeah. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, so thank you for the great work. I'm sorry I've been missing, but I've been working. Every weekend I'm doing something. So thank you so much.
You've been at demonstrations. That's what I know. Yeah.
Right. So first, I had another engagement this morning here still, but I wanted to come today, be part of this demonstration today, to acknowledge your great work this past, what was it? Was it a couple of days ago, a few days ago? It was amazing. That was really, really good. As Dr. Nico said, that you don't need get permission from anyone to go demonstrate. You don't need the chapter leader or anyone. Every one of us can do what Dorcas did, and Dorcas did it extremely well. And I'm very, very proud, because the UK is one of the big support centers for the dictatorship, and we need to get the UK to hear more of our voices, our displeasure, the funding of dictator Museveni. So that was bravo, Dorcas. That was really, really beautiful. Dr. Nicole, thank you so much for those comments, especially I mean, of course, I missed whatever you said before because I just joined, but your recommendations, especially to Comrade Joe, those are really good. I think I didn't know that Jan Sadak is from Sweden. I think it's definitely very good if we could have that, pay him a visit, or at least get his constituents to know that he's more or less covering up whitewashing regime's crimes. So I think those are really good recommendations. Yeah, so I think, Dorcas, next week, I think next Saturday, I think we should recap. There's been so much happening this year, and I think it would be a great opportunity for us next week, next session. I will definitely make sure I have no other commitments to just recap everything that happened this year and how we can build upon that for the coming year. So I didn't want to talk too much today because, again, I joined in late. I don't want to take all the time, but I just wanted to really thank you and thank everyone that has been coming. Comrade Joe, and Dorcas, for your continued sessions every week on the Middle East and all the others that you do. And I really cannot be taken lightly. Again, Tina, thank you so much for your passion. You are always there. Tina is always at our demonstrations. She's one of our main mobilizers in the DC, DMV area. That is where the US capital is, and that's where our most important officers are. Even though she does not live in their area, she lives in Pennsylvania, but she does travel several hours and joins with our DMV team to make sure that those demonstrations happen, and she's always there. So she's always the American face there. She's a Ugandan and American, but really appreciate you, Tina, for that passion. And yes, and as Dr. Nico said, we need more people like Tina to join this demonstration. But again, even if we don't have them, let's all take it upon ourselves to demonstrate. I know in some places like the Middle East, they have problems. They probably may not be able to demonstrate, but again, there are ways to get your voices heard. So thank you so much. I'll leave it at that. I will share a couple of tweets, especially one with a demonstration that I don't know if Dorcas, you shared your demo tweet, but I'll share.
But I saw you amplified it. Yeah, I didn't honestly.
Okay, so I'll share what I tweeted on your demo because it was really. I mean, I thought it was a good message. Basically, I think let me just summarize. And I think you talked about it. That demo was the Minister of Foreign Affairs was in the UK, supposedly to attract and engage the Ugandan diaspora in the UK to invest at home. And also they were talking about the department in Minister of Foreign Affairs, I think the diaspora department, which supposedly gonna map Ugandans, meaning they need to know your information, where you live, what you do, so that they can help you better when you go home to do business. So obviously, for a regime that is torturing, killing, and doing all types of dislocating people from their land, or people at home to come and engage as if everything is normal back home is something is just not, it's not a good picture. So that's why this demonstration is good to go to show. And to tell them that we don't, we don't want to come and engage with you in Uganda when this is happening. When prisoners are still languishing in prison, many people missing, and you've not accounted for anything. We don't want to normalize Uganda or the regime. So that was a very good message, and I'm glad that Dorcas, at a very short notice, you are able to mobilize with your colleagues to go and demonstrate. Even though the chapter leaders of the UK chapter leaders were on a forum where this was discussed, but nothing was done. They didn't take it up on themselves. And that's why Dr. Nico used that language, said, you don't have to wait for the chapter leaders to do anything, just take it up on themselves. If they don't want to do anything, if you have that energy and fire, just take it upon yourself. Get a few of your colleagues, whether Ugandans or others, and go and get your voices heard. So thank you so much, doctors. Thank you so much, Dr. Nicole. Thank you so much, Tina. Thank you so much, everyone on here, for all you do and your continued, coming to these Saturday sessions, because again, it takes a lot of dedication by doctors and Joe to put this on. So your support is really appreciated. And those who can, please find a way to get engaged locally in your constituencies to amplify the struggle in wherever we live, so that we can get more support. Thank you so much, Dorcas.
Thank you so much, Joseph. And of course, we know the sacrifices that you guys made, driving for hours. I think it was one of the comrades that said they had to drive 6 hours or so, and I'm thinking, wow, so thank you so much. And all the writing that you do, I know you do a lot of writing to those important offices I will not mention, but thank you so much for exposing the dictator. Yes, we'll give Ben a chance, and then we roll over to Dr. Nicole. Then we'll be closing. Yes, Doreen, were you ready to speak? Looking so good. How are you? Yes, Doreen. Or is it Ben? Sorry, I think I'm mixing up. Okay. Yes, Ben, please unmute. You've muted. You need to touch it once. Yes.
Am I clear?
Yes, you are. Do you want to share a picture, or I put something on the video for you? Your image, we don't see you, but I can put something on the screen if you're not comfortable.
Okay, thank you, Madam Dorcas.
Okay.
First of all, I thank all of you comrades and those who have been participating here and in every demonstrations. Thank you so much. Let us continue pushing the dictator I don't have much to say today, but I wanted to talk about Dr. Nico was talking about that Museveni will not leave us in elections. So we should not concentrate on 2026. We should organize ourselves and see how Museveni can go without election, because we cannot win Museveni elections. You know how to rig elections. Dr. Besigye won Museveni 3 times. Our president, His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi, won elections, but he's not the president right now. So we are not ready for 2026 elections. I heard comrade that there is a demonstration going on January 8th. But I tried to talk to some of our comrades on the ground, most especially the foot soldiers. They told me that they were not ready and the demonstration is not well organized, so they are not aware of the demonstration. So if we are to organize a demonstration, we need to be more organized and
test on social media. We had been talking to the management company and we had been organizing a demonstration. But one difficulty that we encountered was that we do not have any comrades in Bournemouth, and that is the place where this gentleman lives in southern UK. So what we did is we put an advertisement in a local newspaper. Because the cost of that was 100 euros. You can imagine that just that investment is a smaller investment than the gas of comrades coming to that place. So if you cannot travel to a certain place, think of other ways you can disrupt. And so now we put an advertisement. My next idea, if we want to protest in a certain place and we do not have comrades there, is to hire some people there and put stickers of our protests on signposts. You know that if you have a pedestrian light, sometimes organizations put stickers there. And that sticker can be seen there for a long time. Another one is obviously advertisement. So these kind of, I call them guerrilla activities, are the kind of activities that I would like to employ. Since it's 3 minutes, now it's even 2 minutes to 5, Dorcas, I'm giving it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. Yes, comrades, like Doctor says, we all have different ways we can contribute to the struggle.
In 500 meters, turn left onto Loostrect N236.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so be it financial or whatever way you can contribute. Some of you have got printers. You can avail your printers for printing material, or there's so much we can all do. And some of you could design the material, like I was struggling to design a flyer the other day. So if you're good at designing, you can make your contribution in so many different ways. Let me not take so much. Before you go, Doctor, I think Proscovia, please do take the mic. I think you'll be last.
Okay, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Nicole, and all comrades who are always here on this platform. We thank you so much when we're on Zoom, when we're on Twitter. And Dr. Nicole, thank you so much. Tina, Mr. Joseph, nice to see you. Madam Docas, everybody, thank you so much. One comrade, Mayanja, said, well, the people on the ground, they are not aware of. This is one thing that as Ugandans, we are failing to understand. You're not aware of. who are those concerned people that you're supposed to tell of what you're supposed to do as far as taking the dictator out? So when we say let us take it on as our own without being without depending on anyone, because whoever you're going to tell is not going to align with it. That one I want to assure you. They're not going to align with it. So if you want us to follow protocol, then that means we're not going to liberate Uganda. That one I'm telling you. If you're like, you know what, we're going to do A, B, C, then the other person be like, you know what? Yes, we are non-violent. We are non-violent. But there's there are certain things that you have got to do. And even we have said that our leaders are always surprised. I want to ask our comrade Mayanja, have we ever organized anything and involved our leaders and succeeds? Not at all. But they see the end results and even themselves do not know where it came from. So if you say it is good to inform them, but inform them when you're red on the ground, they call them what is going on here. They'll tell you the people of Uganda, the people. They're not going to tell you national inter-platform, oh, those are our people, but they're going to tell you the people of Uganda did this. The people of Uganda decided to take on the dictator. So let us have that at the back of our mind. Miss Dorcas, I applaud you for, I know when you're standing alone on at a place, you're like, okay, people look at you, but the message, I always pass and see the messages. The other day, the Palestinians were protesting, ceasefire at the governor's office. And they were given, and this goes back to the big countries that are supporting the dictator. For example, in Kampala, Uganda, you cannot demonstrate outside the US Embassy. But I can be allowed to demonstrate at the governor's office, residence, and I'm given protection. Why is it that it is hard for us Ugandans to convey our message to the people or to the delegates or to the lead who is leading the US in Uganda? When we ask for democracy, let us ask democracy that is for all. Do not allow, why do you allow us to demonstrate in the US? But you're not allowing us to demonstrate in Kampala to let you know that, yes, you are here working in this country, you're representing US, you are having all these programs running in the country. But A, B, C, D, because that message will be heard. Even Biden will see, hey, what is happening in Kampala? But if they're not allowing us to do it at home, Ugandans, let's wake up. Here I'll go to my White House or the state capitol and I'll put my message there and they will listen to me. Can we really ask let's ask ourselves and let's put ourselves in order to make these people allow us to do the demonstrations in Kampala at the US Embassy. All we need is their protection like they do it here. Why do you protect me here? Why do you flog me when I'm in my home country demonstrating at your embassy? But here you're allowing me. I hope, I don't know what Dr. Nicole thinks about, I mean, to you all comrades, because I came to think about it and I was like, wait a minute, what is democracy? Then we cannot talk about democracy when at home, the people we are talking about, you're dealing with a dictator. At home, they are also suppressing us, that you are given AK-47. Frog them, we don't need anyone there. Yet here, you're allowing me to go demonstrate at state capitol, at the governor's residence. We are attacking Blinken. Why? Yet we cannot attack the ambassador of Uganda to the US in Uganda. Thank you so much, comrades, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much. Yes, sister. I think those are the double standards. Yes, doctor, I think doctor already had his, I don't know if he's still, I think doctor is gone. However, we do thank you, doctor, for making the time to be here with us today. We thank you so much. Yes, sister, I do understand what you're saying. It is such a pain. We have to continue exposing all the injustice and, of course, exposing all the gross human rights violations. And these guys are sugarcoating everything, you know. So yes, Comrade Joseph, I think come in and do close us down as well. Joe, I don't know if you have the last, you want to have a closing remark, but yes, otherwise, Joseph, please do come in.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to come in and say that Proscobia made an excellent submission. Thank you so much, Proscobia, about this action at home. As Dr. Nico said, if you're demonstrating, you don't need to get permission from anyone. And I think when it comes to home, our people need to find a way to coordinate their action. If they trust each other, and as Proscobia was saying, do your mobilization quietly and have a critical mass all over the country, and then go to the streets, and then you can involve the leaders and say, hey, we are here as Ugandans on the streets. And because basically, I think what is happening, there is a lot of eavesdropping. If you're talking to leadership, someone is listening. And so, you know, you go to the streets and the police knows about it and they stop whatever you're trying to do. So let's be more creative, as Dr. Nico said, and see how we can mobilize without necessarily first coordinating everything. But we need coordination and planning, but we need to somehow find a way to do it without necessarily coordinating it from the very top. So that was a very good submission. And then the point about the embassies, one thing we also have to notice that these embassies, all these missions in Uganda have a lot of Museveni plans. Museveni has people in his embassies, you know, the staff, they have to hire local staff. And, you know, either head of security or whatever. And these local staff call, you know, and Museveni basically has his people in there to know what is happening and whatever. So I think a lot of these, you know, calling the police and all that is, you know, people within the embassy that are serving Museveni's interests. But as Proscobia was saying, we need to somehow reach out to these embassies and say, well, you know, despite all that, we need to reach out to them and say we need freedom of assembly, and please ensure that we are protected and that no police is called when Ugandans want to come and demonstrate. But I think a lot of that is because of regime plans within the system. Even here in Washington, Museveni has people at the World Bank, even at Congress, actually, we found in some committees in foreign affairs, Museveni has, you know, because he's been in power for almost 40 years, so he knew where all the power centers are and kind of maneuvered, educated people, and used ambassadors and references and got these people into very sensitive positions. So we need to maneuver around that. But those are really excellent, excellent submissions by Proscobia. And then I think Mr. Ben was talking about elections. I totally agree. Unfortunately, even here in the diaspora, a lot of people are looking towards 2026 and they're talking about, you know, all these conferences and stuff and strategies towards 2026. But literally, that is like giving Museveni a free pass, because Museveni, first of all, the elections may not even happen. Museveni is maneuvering to have his son chosen by, or himself chosen by Parliament. You know, as you know, Museveni controls Parliament. You know, he has a huge majority because of his gerrymandering. He's always creating little districts, and most of those people in Parliament are his. So if Museveni feels like there is no way, chance in hell, like of course he lost the elections, and chances are the bribes that they gave to the MPs to once again change the constitution such that Parliament, just like in UK, and or the party with the most MPs in Parliament chooses the next president of Uganda, just like in the true parliamentary system, how it operates like in UK and others in another parliamentary system. Uganda has a hybrid parliamentary and presidential system, but now Museveni is maneuvering to make sure that the people don't have a say, that his party, which has the most people in parliament, chooses the next leader. So which means we have as Ugandans, if you're looking for 2026 and you think you can use elections to remove Museveni, either it's going to kill you or it's going to, make sure that it doesn't even bother about people going to vote, and just uses the parliament to choose him or his son Muhoozi Kainerugaba. So we need to do something as soon as tomorrow. Whatever Ugandans can do, we need to wake up, because otherwise we are dreaming if you think we can remove Museveni through elections or through anything like that. So thank you so much, Dorcas. That is my conclusion. I obviously missed a large part of the beginning, but thank you so much. And I guess you can take it over and maybe pass on to Mr. Joe to conclude. Oh, I don't hear you. Joe, I think she had given you a chance.
Oh, sorry, I'm speaking in a muted mic. Thank you so much, Brother Joseph, for your closing remarks. And of course, thank you for each and everything that you continue to do for our mother Uganda. Thank you. Yes, the comrade on ground, I just sort of wanted to say, honestly, we shouldn't at this point be waiting for an invitation, you know. We should be very eager and very ready to get rid of the dictator. So when people are oppressed, you know, the killings, the fires, there's so much that is happening. Let us take action. Let us want to have a new Uganda, and we have to work towards it. Let us not look towards an invitation. And if we've heard there is going to be action, what date? 8th? Let us go for it. Could somebody, maybe Madways, I don't know if it's you, Joe, that is going to speak on the 8th. Madways, I'm unmuting you. I don't know if you want to speak to us. Are you able to speak to us, brother?
Yes.
Comrades would like to take action, and I think some were wondering, they do not know what is happening. So what is brewing? Tell us. You know, here we have no secrets.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone.
Good to see you, brother.
Like our president said, and has been telling us, that whenever we see an activity that is aimed at taking out the dictator, we should support it. We don't know who organized this, but as some of us, I call myself one of the underground fighters.
Ever ready.
Whenever we see an activity coming up, we just go with it. So if 8th is there, let's back it up. Let's give it a vibe. Let's make it like we do online. Thank you.
Thank you. I like it. I like the fighter that you are. You're ever ready. I was screaming across. Thank you so much for always fighting all these wars. And you really do an awesome job. Thank you so much. And it's great working with you, comrade. Yes, comrades, just go for it. When you hear of something, go for it. If you've not heard of anything, create something and go for it. Yes, Brother Joe, please do close us down. I don't know if you have closing remarks, otherwise we are closing. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Dorcas. Yes, we end on a very on an optimistic note with the new leader of opposition coming in. It brings a new impetus, and we really hope that the new year now brings us closer to removing the dictator. I really think we now need to focus. We should not be detracted by any side activities that just distract us from our core mission. Our core mission is to remove the dictator. So again, we are not going on holiday because the dictator kills day and night, 24/7. He never rests. So our revolution really never takes a break. So we're still in the trenches, but coming back, the new year, I think, gives us new hope. And I really think we should all be very energized. And yes, as soon as Percy and other speakers have noted, it is everybody's duty. You know, this is organic. Don't wait for somebody to give you, to call you, to invite you. No. And as Comrade Madways just demonstrated, he's ever ready. So should we be. We should be ready to, to remove the dictator. And I really think, the coming days are going to be very intensive. I think we're going to see a resumption of phase two, which I really would consider the final push that is going to remove the dictator. So I think let's not really waste time and energy on distractions. Everything we do must bring us closer. It must be an activity calibrated to bring us closer to removing the dictator and nothing else. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I'll see you in the new Uganda. We shall meet in the new Uganda. But a new Uganda does not come by itself. We have to work for it. So please, as we celebrate Christmas, let's be thinking creatively how we achieve this. Thank you very much. Comrade Dawkins, over to you.
Thank you. I thought you were going to get everybody awake and singing.
Byebyo abazungu ne bannayuganda ababeera e Bulaaya bataddemu amaanyi, bongera okuteekamu amaanyi okulaba nti batuzuukusa, okulaba nti batuwa mulaalo, okulaba nti batuteeka mu mbeera egenda otuyamba ffenna bannayuganda okukuka obwongo, okakasa nti buvunaanyizibwa bwaffe okununula ensi yaffe, okununula Uganda eno teri buvunaanyizibwa bwa mulala wabula bwaffe. Ffe tulina okulwana olutalo luno si matalo, tutereeze eggwanga lyaffe, tutereeze ensi yaffe ku lw'abaana baffe bafune ensi mwe balyeyagalira, ensi mwe baliwangaalira, ensi ey'omulembe, ensi eyeegombesa. Byebyo mbaagala nnyo, tujja kuddamu tubyogera ebigambo wabula mbaagaliza ennaku enkulu ez'omulembe n'omwaka omujja ogw'essanyu naguno tugumaleko bulungi, ate ogujja gubeere gwa buwanguzi bwereere eri mmwe mwenna. Mukama Katonda abankuumire, mweraba.